On Christmas morning of last year, I awoke to a gift like no other. These coordinates. And if you're confused as to why I would be excited about that, in the USA GeoGuessr community Discord server, there's a channel where every 4 days Chicago Geographer posts a set of coordinates that are located somewhere within the US, and who can ever produce a picture closest to those coordinates wins the challenge for that round. There's nothing saying you can't just drive to the coordinates. Now, since I had time off from school, and these coordinates were the closest they had ever been to me, I figured, you know what? Why not try and get to the coordinates exactly? These coordinates places right here in Wyoming. I was like, it'd be a long drive, but I probably could do it in one day. This was a horrible idea. Even with the road conditions were like clear and perfect, and had no issues there, it'd be a brutally long day. So, thankfully, someone had a free room on Hotels.com that needed to be used up before the end of the year. Everything was kind of lining up. Everything was kind of lining up to take an impromptu trip down to Wyoming. Me and my family were off on an impromptu road trip down to Teton. We'd also never been to Teton before, so like, oh, that'd probably be a cool thing to see in the winter, like snow-capped peaks and whatnot. But first, we had to get through one of the saddest looking parts of Idaho. Maybe it was just like the winter and the ominous clouds. Like, I feel like if I could see the mountains, this place would look a lot less sad. Although I will say the sun peeking through the clouds does look pretty cool at some points here, so. We also passed through the saddest little town of Felt, Idaho. I'm pretty sure this doesn't even count as a town, it's just a place where some people are. There's also a couple other less sad looking towns we passed through on the way. Some cooler looking buildings. Now comment below, if I told you I saw a bank map of an old silo while we were passing through an agricultural area, you would assume it'd be a grain silo, right? At least not a missile silo? Like, how would you even make a bank out of a missile silo? Sorry, I just need to prove a point. Shortly after that, we pass into Wyoming and are back into the mountains again. Due to the road conditions, a bit slick, we didn't get into Jackson until pretty late. Now, Jackson is unlike any other town I've been to in Wyoming in that it doesn't feel utterly, soul-crushingly sad. Like, it feels like there's some stuff going on. I know it's like all the tourism traffic. You don't see that a lot in Wyoming. So I woke up that morning, and I was excited to head on off. I was excited for all the what the fuck, why would you do this reactions to this, because it's rare enough. I mean, it's happened a few times where people have gone to the location, but for someone to drive to another state for more than, how long was it? 7 hours? Yeah. For someone to drive over 7 hours to another state, oh man, be very amusing. Before we were going through the coordinates, we'd be passing through Grand Teton National Park, and they are covered by clouds. It's a bit unfortunate, you know? What are you gonna do, though? Don't worry, these infinitely less impressing hills are still in view, though, so hey, not all is lost. We still went to the park though, you know, just to see a little bit. Walk through the snowy forest, which I do love me a good snowy, foggy forest. Now, there's been requested that I show more Scooter in my videos. Here you go. And after that short detour, we're back on the road to reach the coordinates. After about an hour of driving on the highway, the scenery started to change, and the road drew closer. My anticipation grew. Turned off on the random little side road near Denwar, Wyoming, and drove on the road that snaked up on the hills, passing through the forest, going up the switchbacks, and we reach a turn that would take us up the mountain, and shit. Well, yeah. I honestly thought our biggest problem would be that the road wouldn't be paved, but yeah, I kind of forgot that there's a lot of private roads in Wyoming. But it looked like there was more than one road up this mountain though, so we go over to another road that would hopefully take us up, and it's not plowed. But there was one last option I could see on the map to take us up, and it's private and it's not plowed. Fuck. This is as close as we got, where this chunk of the road where it just stops being plowed. Kind of unfortunate. I honestly felt a little bit defeated to have gone so far and to be stopped so close by but to not make it. Now, yes, this picture did win overall and I did get the reaction I was hoping for of, wow, what the fuck? And also content. But I still felt a little empty. What are you gonna do, you know? Google isn't 100% accurate when it comes to telling you if a road is private or not. Rural Wyoming roads ain't where I want to fuck around and find out. I still won the game, and we went back down the mountain. Then we went into the nearby town of Dubois. Yes, that's how they pronounce it. Not Dubois. Dubois is a cool little town to drive through. There's all these random little things on the side of the road that you can see, and these weird little land formations, and it has the world's largest jackalope exhibit. Not to be confused with the world's largest jackalope, which is in Douglas, Wyoming. Also this ominous sign at a local park. But Dubois was also home to the National Bighorn Sheep Center, which is a nice little museum for sheep. The largest roaming herd of bighorn sheep in the US, I believe. Used to be near Dubois until they all died of pneumonia, so... Some of the animals were dressed up for Christmas. They also had this funky looking skull, and guess what this ominous throbbing noise is? That's right, it's a ferret's heartbeat. Good job if you correctly guessed that. Then after that we stopped at a place called Toozy's for lunch, which was home of the famous Disco Skull. As we were driving through the area of Dubois, it's kind of like there's like interesting rock colors there, because it's a lot more red than I'm used to in the Northwest. The rock colors honestly remind me more of like Utah in the Southwest, which is weird because we're more like in this part of Wyoming. And there's one last thing we passed by in Dubois. The giant military museum that could probably fit the entire population of Dubois in it. Why is there a giant military museum in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming? I mean, where else are you gonna put it, you know? Wyoming seems like a state for that. Pass by that and back to the Red Rocks. This has definitely been one of the more interesting drives through Wyoming. Towards the end of this, if you see here, boom, there they are. You can see some bighorn sheep for a brief second. You know, Wyoming has some amazing scenery up in the northwest corner of the state with like Tetons and Yellowstone and this canyon. And then this is what most of it looks like. Yeah, this is the Wyoming I'm used to driving through. But if you enjoy it, I mean, more power to you, but... We also saw some bison and this big ball, so... And, then we went home. Yep. Anyways, thanks for watching. This might be the strangest reason I've ever gone on a trip. And, you know, I appreciate if you like the video, subscribe, go check out another Goshen Man video, or any of the other Ocean Man social media stuff. Click on those links in the description. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time I go somewhere. This has been Goshen Man.